Yo, what is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get Keelan and the Fellow and the first Descendant. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your quest tab right as you log into the game, and there's going to be a main quest that you're going to have to do. This main quest is going to take you through the void vessels and show you pretty much how they work. If you didn't read any of the description, I will still go over the mechanics of the void vessels, but if you do that quest line, it should tell you exactly what everything does, but I'll still go over the mechanics just in case. Once you've completed the main quest, you're going to unlock this terminal called the Void Vessel Operations. Here you're going to have a choice between Void Vessel Normal and Void Vessel Hard. I highly recommend doing this on hard mode. You get more materials on hard. And then as you can see here, there is this screen showing you the different tiers of loot that you can acquire. So pretty much you're going to have 4 tiers of loot. They're all going to have different drop rates for the materials. So the top one being the highest tier and the bottom one being the lowest tier. So pretty much how this is going to work is, as you can see on the right hand side, it says time remaining. Whenever you fight the boss, there's going to be a timer that counts down. If you beat the boss within 2 minutes or above 2 minutes, you are going to get the highest tier loot. So the goal is to kill the boss as fast as possible. This is going to be achieved by doing this in solo play. Solo play is by far the best way to do this if you want to get this done really quickly. But if you want to have a fun time, I do highly recommend doing this in pubs. The boss is a lot tankier, but for this video, this is going to be showing it solo. Alright, so going over the mechanics of the void vessels, starting off with the block Vulgus comms beacons. These are going to be scattered around the map in different locations. They're going to be in hidden places all around the map. For this method, you actually don't have to collect a single one, but if you want to, I would say probably collect 1 to 3 is going to be the most you're going to need for this strat. If you have the build that I'm going to be using in this video, then you really shouldn't have to collect any of them, but if you are lacking in the build, I would highly recommend collecting at least like 1 to like 3 or maybe even 4. Essentially, they're going to have this white icon. You're going to see them scattered around the map, and you are going to want to interact with them. This is going to increase the timer for the boss fight, so you're going to have more time to fight the boss. The next mechanic I want to go over is the bubbles on the enemies. So pretty much there are going to be 2 types of bubbles. They're going to be the blue bubbles and they're going to be the orange bubbles. The only way you can break the blue bubbles is by doing ability damage, and the only way you can break the orange bubbles is by doing firearm damage. So the next mechanic I wanted to go over are the secret loot rooms. These are going to be rooms blocked by a kind of a blue wall. The way you're going to break this wall is with ability damage. Once you've broken the wall with your abilities, you're going to get these different types of crates that are going to be inside the loot room. One is going to be labeled experimental, another one's going to be labeled genetic, another one is also going to be labeled special material, and then one is going to be labeled broken material, and then another one's going to be labeled basic material. So for the experimental material, these are going to be the materials you're going to need for crafting the fellow. And then for the genetic and special materials, these are going to be used to craft items to further level up your fellow. So I highly recommend grabbing the genetic, the special, and the experimental if you want to fully upgrade your fellow. For Keelan, the main one you're going to want to grab is the broken materials. Those are going to be the materials you're going to need to actually craft Keelan. And then for the basic materials, it's just materials for crafting crystallization catalysts. So the way you're actually going to be able to open these loot room boxes is you're going to need these decrypted keys. The way you get decrypted keys is whenever you actually beat the boss at the very end of the mission, you're going to be able to acquire these keys. So just doing this mission over and over, you're going to accumulate a bunch of keys. You get around 6 keys a mission. All right, going over the boss's mechanics. So when you enter in the boss room, there's going to be a bunch of enemies you're going to have to clear. Once you've killed all those enemies, the boss is going to spawn. He's going to be in his invulnerable state at this moment. You're just going to want to pump as much damage as possible at the first phase. Once he hits his second phase, he is actually going to pull up a shield. You're going to want to shoot the middle of the shield with your gun. It does not take ability damage. Make sure you are using your weapon. And then for his second part of his second phase, he is actually going to put up a blue bubble around him, you are going to want to use your abilities to break that bubble. So whatever abilities you have on your character, you're just going to want to pump as much ability damage as possible into that bubble until it bursts. Once it bursts, the boss is going to be vulnerable. Then you're going to go to his third phase. He is going to spawn in a bunch of enemies with the blue bubbles. You're just going to kill them with the ability damage, and then he's going to be vulnerable. Once he's vulnerable, you're just going to pump in a bunch of damage. I usually just use my Enduring Legacy and then just pump as much damage as possible with my Enduring Legacy and then finish off the boss. Once you do that, you've completed the mission, and now you're going to be rewarded the containers. You're going to interact with the container and it's going to show you all the different tiers. So I really wanted to go over these tiers really quickly. And the very left hand side is the best tier. On the very right hand side is the worst tier container. When you're going to getting these pieces, I highly recommend just only going for the best container, just because it has the lowest chance of getting the 100k gold. That is going to be probably the worst reward in the entire loot pool. If you get the 100k gold, that is going to be a bad run. You are going to have lower drop rates for other pieces, but I promise you, if you go for these other containers, you're just going to see the 100k gold more often than you would want to. I made this mistake by seeing the higher percentages for the pieces on the other tiers, trying to go for them, and then just getting 100k gold every single time when opening them. Once you claim the box, you are going to get one of the pieces in the loot pool, which I ended up getting one of Keelan's pieces, which was really nice. Then you are pretty much done with the mission, and you could just back out and then restart. All right, I'm going to go over the build I'm going to be running for this solo mission. So starting off with the weapons, this is going to be my Thunder Cage build. You don't really need Brisk Walker. I'm just using it for the movement speed, but if you really want to, you can put in Mental Focus for the damage. This is going to be the Enduring Legacy build. I'm going to be running the full Slayer set, and then on my reactor I'm running a Singular Power with Skill Range. And then for my Bunny build, I'm actually going to be using Electric Condense, and this is going to be the build I'm going to be using. Also, if you're wondering why I'm going to be using the Thunder Cage, so with the Thunder Cage, the unique ability, whenever you kill a mob, it does an explosion, or it does like, yeah, big giant electric shockwave that does 200% firearm damage. With this shockwave, this actually counts as firearm damage. So whenever you're dealing with the monsters with the orange bubbles, it is actually going to count the shockwave damage as well. So I'm going to be showing you guys a quick run of me going through the Void Vessel. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.
me